Hi, Lauren Vicker with Tim Franz for Making Team Projects Work. And today we're going to be talking about team leadership. And we have a special guest with us, Dr. Seth Silver. So I'm going to turn it over to Tim, let him do the introductions, and talk to his friend Seth about leadership.
So I'd like to introduce my friend, Dr. Seth R. Silver. Seth is an organizational consultant, a good friend of mine, a colleague and co-author on another book. Seth's expertise is leadership. And so Seth is going to help us out today with tips for team leaders. So Seth, what do you think the most important thing is for team leadership?
I'm going to answer that by starting with a very quick 10-second story. And it involves a sales guy named Nick, who I think is one of the most exceptional first-line leaders I have met in the last 2 years. And while doing a workplace covenant review, something I may get into in a moment, I asked the group, what do they think gets in the way of good leadership and good teamwork? What gets in the way of good teamwork and good leadership? And the first word out of Nick's mouth was ego. And I think you have to check your ego at the door. If it's about your ego, you're never going to have great leadership. You're never going to have great teamwork. I'd follow that up with some insights from research on psychological safety, which have suggested, and this sounds kind of weird, but equality of conversational turn taking, a fancy way of saying that when you hold a meeting, you have 5 people and you're meeting for about an hour, each one should get roughly, give or take, about 12 minutes. You don't need to stopwatch it and measure it, but you don't want to have one person of the 6, the leader and 5 team members, dominating and taking 45 minutes out of the 60. So I'd say awareness of equality of conversational turn taking, equal contribution at meetings, getting people involved, not making harsh judgments. All the literature on psychological safety says you don't make negative judgments. You don't throw colleagues and teammates and subordinates under the bus. You welcome contrary ideas. You welcome feedback. You welcome pushback. Fruitful friction is a good thing on a team. And then the last concept, and here I'll shamelessly plug the book that Tim and I have co-written, Meaningful Partnership at Work. And that's the notion of a workplace covenant. And that's the exchange of obligations and expectations. So a team leader can start the conversation about support with, here's what I think I owe my team to help them feel supported and be successful. Here's what I expect from my team so that I will feel supported and be successful. And then in turn, ask the team, what do they think? What do they think they owe the manager or the team leader? What do they expect from the manager or the team leader? And have that conversation, do the compare and contrast, and create a covenant.
So Seth, I'm hearing a lot of great tips inside this very short video post. Psychological safety, check the ego at the door. A lot of what I'm hearing is that it's important for a team leader to really have more of an egalitarian view, to share leadership, to make sure everybody's a part of the team, rather than think about that old school hierarchical way, and think about what their obligations are to other people too, as team leaders and team members. So this was
absolutely early in my career, some 30 years ago at Xerox. The manager at the time, my first manager, had done a course called Manager as Facilitator. And I think those 3 words really put it together, that the team leader has to be much more of a facilitator rather than a director. And that facilitation of input and contribution and commitment and accountability, that's what a good team leader ought to be doing. So
well, this is fantastic. Thanks so much, Seth. Great
Pleasure.
tips for our audience thinking about students as team leaders. Lauren?
Thanks, Tim, and thank you again to Seth. And you can read our full blog post on leadership at the link below this particular video. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching another video in our Making Team Projects Work series. And we know what time of the year it is, so happy holidays. And I hope you're all ready for the celebrations.
And if you have any last-minute shopping to do for the student or professional on your list, we've got a recommendation. We have Making Team Projects Work and the companion student guide, Making Team Projects Work Student Toolkit, both available on Kindle for the ridiculously low price of $2.99. And they're worth a lot more in terms of all the information that you can find.
And so again, check out the link below this video. That takes you to our website, or just look up the books on Amazon. Thanks and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.